Alright guys, we're on day 2, part 2 of this leaking water pump on this 3.6 liter Dodge Ramicus Promaster delivery van. In the last episode, I pulled off everything on the front radiator support, got in deep, dug out this water pump after we verified that the leak was occurring down here at the base of the pump gasket. So what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and clean up this block mating surface. That way the gasket has a nice shiny flat clean surface to seal off of, and we're going to go ahead and start getting this pump installed. Okay, the way we're going to achieve this clean gasket surface is with a super scraper after I fetch my flashlight that I dropped. This thing is basically just an aluminum bar with a tungsten carbide, I think it's tungsten carbide tip on the end of it, which is machined very flat and very true, and it's a very hard metal, and that's basically just gonna peel this old gasket material away like butter. It's a very effective tool. It must be used cautiously though, because if I were to dig the corner of this blade into the aluminum, it will put a very, very profound gash or scratch in the aluminum, which would definitely be bad. And I like this much better than a roll-lock wheel, because I can control how and where I apply scraping pressure. But with those pneumatic polishing wheels, it's kind of hit or miss, and you can end up causing a surface that's not actually true and flat. But when used properly, this tool will not damage any of the sealing surface. And again, it's just light pressure and a little bit of motion, and I just want to get under all this material and just scrape it away nice and clean like. Oh, wait a minute, there's, oh, that's just a lip. Okay, I thought there was still gasket stuck to the sealing surface. I think this job's gonna be a hard back kind of day. My head is down right behind the camera, and I'm hunched over with one leg bent holding my weight and the other leg stretched for stability. I wasn't here yesterday, and it appears to have been chaos because the place is kind of dirty and there's oil and stuff everywhere, which for some reason it migrated its way into my stall, and now my floor is slick. Oh well, that's the life. Okay, I've got the majority of this material removed. I'm just gonna give it some spray pretty soon to clean off any residuals that might be clinging onto the surface, and then we're gonna go ahead and move this gasket down into position and install the water pump. All right, brake parts cleaner, do your thing. Give it a solvent rinse. And a real quick wipe me down. Yeah, that's nice. Here, I'll lower you guys down some for a better view of that surface. You can still see the outline of where the gasket made contact everywhere, but that is inconsequential. There's no surface change, and everything is very smooth. And this is quite acceptable for a new sealing surface. Okay. Water pump's coming down, the gasket's fitted to it, and it's being aligned with this single bolt that I have through one of the holes. And what I'm going to do is just get this set up in position and start running one bolt in at a time until all of them are threaded in, and then I'll begin to to fasten them. Let's see, I can reach this one easily, so this one can go up here. Okay, now everything's located, and I should have an easier time getting the rest of the fasteners in. Okay, we fast forwarded a little bit. Let's go ahead and peek back down, and I'll show you guys that I've got all those bolts in there set up. Now I just need to reach down here and begin to torque them all. Yeah. And the ones that do not have a fastener in them, like here and here, those are two of the engine mount bolts, and then there's that idler pulley that goes right here, but that has to go on last after I torque all the rest of this stuff. And I'm going to get the ones at the bottom first. Those are the hardest ones to reach. I don't think that was one of them. There we go. Yeah, I'm only operating by feel right now. I can't see anything in here. There's that real pain in the butt one. Got her. Click. Oh, I missed one underneath the pulley right here. Let's see. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move up to this crossover cap thing that has to go on next. And again, I'll just scrape this gasket clean, get off all the residuals, and I'll get that one bolted on. I can't see. Yeah, I've got my head buried down here between the GoPro mount and two flashlights. That's good. Brr. Good, this feels all right. Okay, let's get this thing in its spot, and we'll throw a couple bolts in this one. This does not have a gasket. There's a large O-ring type gasket embedded into the component. And no sealant is necessary because we're not making a transition between two metal parts and there's no gap anywhere, so I don't need to use any silicone on this. Additionally, you don't want to use silicone when there's an O-ring or an O-ring type of gasket on a component, because the silicone won't let the component flex, expand and contract as it should, and it could potentially cause gasket failure. Okay, I zoomed a little bit through time and got all these bolts in position. I'm gonna come back in with the electric and get some torque applied to them. This part is very flexible, so I am going to exercise inside out torquing, where I go one side to the next. Now there's a metal boss embedded into this plastic component, and that will prevent crush damage, and it will set how much clamping force is actually applied to the plastic itself, because the bolt can't go down any farther than a certain specified amount. Alright, we're good. Okay, next up in here is doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, and then the idler pulley. Doo-doo. Alright, let's run down this bolt next and make it tight. Ow. Alright, I'm gonna slip this belt on while I've still got clearance to see what's going on, because once I start putting on the rest of these parts, including the hoses, I'm gonna run out of space very quickly, and then I won't be able to see what I'm trying to do, and I don't like that. Okay, I skipped ahead a little bit for the interest of time to get this belt routed, and I'm applying tension now by releasing the tensioner, and I now have this belt installed, routed properly, and this part is donezo. I don't want to forget this little hose back here. I think I'll get this next, and I grabbed a smaller clamp than the one that had come off of it. I don't know if this one's actually going to fit or not. It might be too small. Just barely. That's going to make it. Skipping over this part because of copyright, even though it's got nothing to do with me, because YouTube does that, and I don't think it's very fair. That's not going to work. Here, let's try the clamp on first, and then I'll put the hose on, and then I'll do the clamp over the hose. Let's see if this little clamp's gonna fit. I don't think so. I'm almost out of threads. Nope, I have to use the big clamp. This one's not gonna work. Okay, let's get this bypass hose or heater hose connected. I think it's a heater hose. We'll get that in place, and I'll tighten that down. Let's see, right, that's a good angle. Good angle for the dangle. Not a good angle for my wrist. That kind of hurts. That should be good. Alrighty, up next, we're doing the lower radiator hose. If you guys recall, getting it off of this radiator at the fitting was a bear. It has this metal clip that clips into this plastic housing, and that's what secures this hose to the actual radiator itself. And it lines up with a tang of some sort, and of course it won't snap on. Let's try to pull the clip out a little bit and then see if it goes on. Okay, let's try to get this thing into its position now. I pulled this clip back out. I believe some of them have to have the clip removed or pulled into the release position. Yep, it's on. And some of them, I think they just slide in and out, but either way, this one's now on. So let's get it attached to the bottom of the water pump there. Can't see what I'm doing, I'm just kind of going by feel. There's an engine on my face. It'd be a lot easier if I could use my right hand, but that's not gonna work. Come on. This is probably how I hurt my hand to begin with. I'm gonna put some dielectric grease in there to help it slide on. There. That should do it. Let's try again. These go. I don't have, like, it almost goes on, but the hose kind of has to stretch some to get over that, into that outlet. There it is. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Cool. Alrighty, I'm gonna get this little bypass hose thing here. This is for the other side of the heater core. We'll get this guy on, and I'll get that down nice and tight. Secure. Now the other end of this goes up here on this metal fitting, but I'm going to get this last in case it becomes in my way, because I still have to get this bottom hose on, but I'm short a clamp that fits that, so I'm waiting for those to arrive. Okay, it looks like I've got everything from here back handled. I'm going to go ahead and start getting this motor mount installed and bolted in. I believe I can still squeeze that thermostat in with this motor mount here, so I'm not too concerned about interference. And this takes 2 more big bolts, one up top and one right down there. Oddly enough, the 2 bottom bolts for this are also water pump bolts, so the water pump sandwiches between this mount and the engine block. I'm gonna run all these down with a 1/4-inch drive, and then I'll bring them up to torque manually. Click. And that's a 16, not a 15. Yeah, that's tight. Click. Good. Alright. And the upper mount's coming in. Like so. We're back to those E-Torx fasteners. Alright, let's move in for a closer view. I've got these 3 18mm nuts. Not bolts, nuts. I'm remembering today. And the 3rd one's back here. You can't see it, but it's back there. Ow! I can't twist with my wrist. Not good. Okay, now it's thermostat and housing time. You know, as much over design as is present on this engine. They couldn't put 3 bolts in this housing. I disagree with that. I wish I had 3, maybe even 4. Oh well, I'm not an engineer. I just fixed the stuff that they failed on. Okay, we're ready to get this upper hose installed now after I spill coolant everywhere. It's self-lubricating. That's what's going on here. Okay, that looks good. Okay guys, we're running out of parts to install. Alrighty, I finally got my clamp that I needed for this bottom hose that comes off the lower radiator hose. I'm just gonna slide that thing on, and I'm about done except for all the front end stuff that I removed, and the air box, and the radiator support, and a few other little goodies. But we're on the home stretch now, and since that's far away and I can't reach it with 2 hands, I got to use a extension on an extension to attempt to tighten this this clamp right here. Oh, not fitting very well. Come here. I think I got it. I think wrong. Okay. I will convert these extensions into wobbly mode. Yeah, see that? They're kind of double jointed, so to speak. Please. Please, because if you don't go, I'm going to get pissed and force you. Aye. Alright, changing tactics one more time. Different extension, different tool, and I'm trying to get a different angle. I'm almost there. Problem is that clamp is going to rotate. So I'll reach in with a pry driver and use the tip of this to hold that clamp. This may take some finesse, but I think I can achieve this. I've gotten into tighter spaces, so this shouldn't be too difficult to handle. There we go. Oh, it's going. It's almost all the way in. Oh no, it's slipping. Go back in. Send it. Just ram it in. Let me give it the finger test real quick to make sure it's good. Gravity. Oh yeah, that's about as tight as I can get it. And it's not going to pop out, so we're good here. Okay, so I've got the pump replaced, the lower radiator hose replaced, 2 bypass hoses replaced, a thermostat, and a crossover plastic piece replaced. That'll about covers all of any additional future potential leaks, including the leak that we found yesterday. So all that's left now is going to be get that air box in and get this radiator support and the plastic trim installed, and this Dodge van is good to go. This fits into 2 grommets on a bracket, so we will get this guy in next. Number 2, that's in. Good. That's where it goes now. Remember, I took that out earlier, and I don't know why I took it out. I think I was going to try to remove this thing, but I gave up on that. down for a better angle, and we've got to get the intake tube inside. And I believe it just kind of, yeah, it came out like this, so it's gonna go in like that also. There. And I'll get that in its boot. Perfect. And there's a couple connectors here that need to be connected. Looks like an air intake temp sensor. If that's the right one. No, that one goes to this, what you call it, evap purge solenoid. And that one's for the temp sensor, I think. Okay, yep. And there's another big clamp on there. Click. Definitely in the home stretch now. Nice. There's no better feeling than when you're almost done. Cool. Let's see, you got a breather hose and an oil filler neck. Oop, sorry guys. Give you a vertigo there. Okay, let's back up and change some angles one more time, and let's get this front end put back together. Okay, core support, you're up. Let's see if I have it backwards. Yeah, I do. Fail. There we go. There's also a bracket for the coolant bottle that goes inside of the core support. Click, tight. Okay. I've already pulled the cable through for the hood release. So let's get this on. Like so. And this lash is secured with 3 nuts, all of the 10mm variety. And one more at the bottom that I can't see. Click. Okay, let's get this coolant bottle in place and get the bottom hose hooked up to it. I think it fell down somewhere. Yeah, there it is. That's my hose. And I need to find another clamp for that as well, because I had to cut the one off that went to it originally. Awkward. Uh-oh, dropped it.
Just like my girl. She always wants to pull her out. Oh. Hey! Listen, man, if you don't shut your mouth, I'm gonna clip you in the nuts.
Wow. Glad to hear everybody's getting along. Good. Do-do-do-do. Okay. Alright guys, let's get this big cover thing installed right here. And then the grill goes on and we're good to go. We'll have to refill the coolant and I can get this hunk of Dodge Mercedes blow power out of the shop. Okay, that's in good shape. I just got to get all those Torx fasteners installed, high and low. All done, yay! Sweet. All right, I'm all out of parts. Time to refill the coolant and starting the engine. Pouring things. Spilling things. My wrist injury. Oh, that's what did it. Stand a little flat. Yeah, my hand's unsteady. It hurts to do things like this. I'll be all right though. All right, let's hit the key and begin the combustion process. Slurping it right up. More? You want more? You can't have any more. Oh shit. Thank you, sir, for your powers of observation. Good job. Appreciate it. Now there's a bleeder valve down there on that thermostat housing that you almost can't reach. And yeah, there's some coolant coming out. Good stream. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and close this off. I'll just let it burp itself through the overflow tank. Nick. Yep, the level's already started to come down some. We'll just let this thing run here for a while, let it come up to temperature, get that thermostat to open up, get everybody cycling through, and after about 10-15 minutes of this, I'll recheck the level. So this thing is quiet. So this thing has been here idling for about a half an hour now, and it looks like the level has stabilized. I'm just going to go ahead and top this off to the maximum mark, and I'm going to call this one good. One of the other fellows is going to put some tires on this, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. When they're done with the tires, I'll get it out on the road and take it out for a test drive just to make sure the temp stays where it's supposed to be. And then I will swing back around into the shop and take a look underneath and just recheck for any coolant drips that might be there. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and rinse this off, because if you recall, I did have a few spills that went on, and I want to make sure this is clean with no more residual coolant left behind. All right, let's climb in here and get this thing over to the hose so I can give it a good rinse down. And we're gonna call this one good and get her on out of the building. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth and lengthy water pump repair on this Dodge Promaster 2500. It was quite an adventure and a little bit of a journey. Not something I'm really used to working on, but we got through it, and that's what matters. So as always, if you did like this video, the only thing I would ask of you is that you tap that thumbs up button. That way YouTube knows that this content was enjoyable and it can send it out to other potential viewers. And seeing as how I appreciate constructive criticism, if you guys did not like this video, if you could, please let me know about that in the comment section down below. Make it shiny. Goodbye, 3.6 liter minivan motor. All right, engine's nice and shiny. Let's get this thing parked. Oh man, silly me. I almost forgot to remind everybody here to not forget to have a great day. See you guys in the next one. I'm gonna make it, it's gonna fit. Smash. Just kidding. I have never wrecked a car, knock on wood. Especially in a parking lot. Let's see here, don't smash the Yoda. Yep, we're good. And powering down. Goodbye, Dodge Blowmaster.